Tonight in the NHL, Austin Matthews cementing himself in history. Most goals for Toronto Maple Leafs player in a single season, 50 with 55. Most goals by an American-born player in a single season, 56. Wow, what a guy.
Yeah, nice little 4-3 overtime victory at Dallas last night. And one dude who made sure to, tweet everyone that he called this is Paul Bruno, RotoWire's Paul Bruno. Congratulations, Paul. I bet it felt double nice because it's your team.
It is. And, this guy is a generational talent that everybody around the league will acknowledge. And it's kind of nice for once that a player of that magnitude suits up in the blue and white. So I'm over the moon with the way the guy's been playing. We haven't seen a skill set like this in any player, I don't think, for an awfully long time. I think Mario Lemieux in his prime is the most comparable for me in terms of the size, the speed, the power, the mindset, the brains, the hockey IQ, all of it in that package that he and I think Connor McDavid is in the same breath. I think we're lucky to have both those guys playing right now, and I say enjoy them for what they are because we won't see their like for a long time. This guy is a real special talent.
Yeah, on track to win his second consecutive Rocket Richard Trophy.
Ooh, wait.
Yeah, should be good.
All right, let's talk about tonight's slate. We got 5 games. So who are you going to play at center here? Most expensive guy going to be Nathan MacKinnon, 8,200. What do you think, Paul?
I'm going a notch below that, Jesse. I'm looking at Alexander Barkov. He has to be my pick if you're going to go near the top end of the board. For $8,100, you get a guy who's on a roll with 16 points and 35 shots on goal in his last 10 games played, facing Buffalo, a non-playoff team. This guy is part of the engine that drives the NHL's highest scoring club, and I think you got to play him tonight. If you want to save a little money, though, there are a couple of other options if you go down the board. Sebastian Aho, the number one guy for Carolina, the top team in the Metro Division, is having a very good season himself. Well, priced at only $6,300. This is a team that gets a ton of shots on goal. He's right in the middle of it most of the time. He's got 10 points in his last 10 starts, facing a New York Islanders team in a home start where the Hurricanes are very good and the Islanders, they're not very good by comparison. So that's a pretty awesome matchup. And then finally, I think there's going to be a real good game with Minnesota and St. Louis. And a guy who thrives in those tough, in the trenches affairs is Ryan O'Reilly, the center on the top line for the Blues. He costs only $4,500 tonight. Gritty two-way play is going to be the way this thing goes, and nobody plays it better than this guy. He's got 8 points in his last 10 games played, and I think it makes sense to put him in your lineup too.
What do you want to do out on the wing? I'm taking a gander at the salaries right now, and one of your favorite human beings on the planet, Brad Marchand, second highest priced guy.
I'm not mentioning him on this show, boycotting that. Nikita Kucherov is an emotional leader in the same game, as well as a top scorer for Tampa. I think the Bruins are banged up. It's worth noting that Pasternak won't play tonight, and they might be missing Lindholm on the blue line too. So that kind of tips the scales in favor of the home side. And I think the loser of this game gets a wild card in this division. Maybe that's a blessing because they'll cross over and play Carolina instead of Florida in the first round. So anyway, Kucherov's going to cost $7,400 for a guy who's better than a point per game player. I think he's going to be worth it, fulfilling the idea that big players show up in the big games, and there's none bigger than this one for those two clubs tonight. Jonathan Huberdeau has 18 points, 31 shots on goal in his last 10 starts. He's already topped the 100-point mark. So I can't really understand why he's not a little bit more expensive. And I grabbed him for $7,100 as the best fit of the big boys in tonight's matchups. He's already topped the 100-point mark on the season. He'll add a few tonight too, I think. Cheap top six wingers are something you got to search for as well when you're paying up for the big boys. So I'm going to suggest Anthony Duclair at $4,200 or Carter Verhaeghe for $3,600 versus Buffalo are considerations will lower your average cost if you're paying up elsewhere, as I said. And also, depending on which side of the St. Louis-Minnesota game you're on, I'll give you one guy to think about for each club. Jordan Kyrou back in the fold for St. Louis, playing top 6 minutes, a real sniper at over the 30-goal mark already on the season, only $4,800. Meanwhile, Kevin Fiala has been the guy that's led this offense for stretches over the last couple of seasons, and he's really cheap too at $4,700. So depending on which team you like in this matchup, one of those two guys should be in your lineup as well.
All right, talk to us about your favorite D-man available tonight, Paul. What do you think?
Jared Spurgeon, Minnesota, Jesse. Anytime you get a power play quarterback in your lineup for sub $4,500 price tag, I don't hesitate. He's going to cost $4,100, so there's a bingo for me. I still like Devin Taves of Colorado, who has 8 points and 25 shots in his last 10 games. He's got 53 points on the season. Nobody's talking about him as one of the highest scoring defensemen in the league, costing only $5,100 in Winnipeg tonight against a very desperate Jets team. Panthers D-man Gustav Forsling for only $3,800 is somebody that's not among the top scoring D-men, but still a viable option because he's playing well in the last 10 games, playing a ton of minutes, got 6 points in that stretch. And this Florida club scores more than any other team. So when you got a guy who's playing over a third of each game, chances are he's going to run into a point somewhere.
All right, let's send people off into the weekend with your favorite bet around the NHL for tonight. 5-game slate.
2 to consider. 1 is a parlay. A big game between Boston and Tampa with the news that the Bees will be, as I said, without Pasternak and possibly without Lindholm as well. The Bolts are my pick on the puck line, minus 1.5 for the plus 150 payout. I also like Carolina to win, minus 1.5 on the puck line. Pair that with the over at 5.5 to pay off at a very nice 280.